What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens summary preview analysis. Today, guys, we are going to be going over the summary and preview for episode 63 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. And yes, it is going to just be the summary and the preview, as just like with episode 61 and 62, we don't have a cast list for this episode, or a real cast list, because yeah, we did get one for 61, but all it said was Yuga, Luke, Roman, and Gakuto, and others. That's literally what our cast list was, and honestly, I don't even consider that a cast list, since you're not talking about everyone. You just mentioned the main four, and that's it. So for the last couple of episodes, we for some reason have just not been getting a cast list, which I have no idea why they aren't doing cast lists right now. I don't know if they stopped doing cast lists, or are they just doing it for a certain reason. I really have no idea, but for this video in particular, we're only going to be able to go over the summary and the preview, and that is it. We're not going to be able to go over the cast list, so I just wanted to kind of bring that up before we get into this discussion. So without further ado, let's not waste any more time, and let's jump right into it. So here we go, the episode 63 summary. The title of it is called The Sixth Man. Roa, while trying to figure out what happened with Luke, goes to Goha with Mimi and Swirly, based on some information from Mimi. Managing to slip inside the corporate headquarters somehow, Roa plans to get inside the president's office, but standing before him is the last of the 6 Goha siblings, who serve as the company's president. And that is the episode 63 summary. This is going to be a pretty interesting episode, just saying that right off the bat. Now, first off, the first thing we gotta mention, Roa is going to be in this episode, which is great. I love the fact that he's actually going to be continuing to be involved in this story. You know, a big worry that kind of came with episode 61 specifically was Roa just going to duel against Yuka, and then that was going to be it? That was going to be the last that we were going to see of him for the rest of this arc? Or was he actually going to stick around and actually help the crew out with their mission? And from 62, it almost seemed like he was going to disappear again, but it looks like he's going to be coming back in 63, which also it makes sense why he wasn't in 62, because that was all focused on Luke and just the main crew trying to find where Luke was, and Roa didn't really need that much involvement with it, so that was completely fine that he wasn't in episode 62, but the fact that he's actually going to be back in episode 63 is great, and it also seems like he's going to be dueling in this episode as well, maybe against Luke. Like, it makes it look like that's going to be the case, because both the scenes that we get with Luke and Roa, it shows them wearing their duel discs, so more than likely this is going to be a Luke versus Roa situation, which, if that's the case, holy crap, this is going to be an exciting duel. This has honestly been one of my most wanted to see duels of Sevens so far. I've really wanted to see Luke face off against Roa for a long time now. Ever since that duel between Yuga and Roa, I really wanted to see Luke go up against Roa, especially with the line that he said, I think it was in episode 12, or it was 13, it was one of those two episodes during the duel with Yuga and Roa, when he said Roa is one of the strongest duelist that he has ever seen. So I feel like with that line in mind, I feel like that just made the excitement for that duel even bigger, because it poses a question: can Roa be the one to finally put Luke in his place and actually give Luke his first loss? Which, if Roa is able to pull this off, if he does go up against Luke, that's going to shoot Roa back up to the top spot, in my opinion. Yeah, it still sucked that he ended up disappearing for a long time, but to come back after just disappearing so many times, to not only beat one of the antagonists of this arc, but also to beat the undefeated Luke, would just be incredible, and I would absolutely love that. And another question that kind of comes to mind as well with this, and I know it's a little bit of a weird question, but is the Luke band gonna return in this episode? And the reason I ask that is because recently, and I even mentioned it in my episode review, which should be out already if you guys haven't already checked it out, but in that review I kind of talked about the little bio that we got on the the Luke Man, and we got a full body design of the Luke Man, so maybe during the duel he might become the Luke Man. I don't know, like, it's a very interesting question to kind of ask. It was kind of similar to when Roman was dueling in the early stages of Sevens, was he going to go into a berserk mode or not, until it started becoming obvious when the first three duels she had, the first three duels she had, 2 out of the 3 duels was her using that mode. It just seemed like that was going to be a constant thing she used, and that was the case until episode 40 when she dueled Yuka and then finally decided to stop using that. So now that becomes the big question with Luke, and if he's going to be using it or not. But another thing to mention with Roa as well is that it seems that Roa, Mimi, and Swirly, which is a very weird combination of characters. I would never expect that trio in Yugioh Sevens, but I guess that's possible with all the characters that we have in the show. I guess we're gonna have some weird combinations like that, but it seems like not only is Mimi gonna tell them probably of what she saw with the mask that was flying in the forest at the end of the last episode after the Luke Man ended up winning the duel against Yuo. We saw the mask flying out in the forest, and even Mimi saying, "Haven't I seen that mask before?" She's probably gonna go up to the crew, tell her where she's seen that mask, and that's where you're gonna have Roa and Swirly go with her to the president office to probably go and assumedly maybe confront the drone, since they know where that drone would probably be at, since we saw it in episode 53 when she went under the desk of the president's office, and that seems to be the place that they're going to be heading for. And it seems like they're going to be meeting with the last of the Goha siblings, which is very exciting as well, especially since the fact that this has been one of the biggest questions that's been asked throughout this arc, and that is, who is the 6th Goha sibling? Is it Yuga? Is it Luke? Is it someone brand new? Or is it someone else that we might know in the series? Like, that has been the biggest question that's been going around ever since season 2 has started, and it seems like now we're finally going to be getting that answer. Now, if I had to say right now who I think it's going to be, I would probably have to go and say that I think it's going to be a new character. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think that Yuga and Rook have a chance, but for Yuga specifically, I felt like they've definitely driven away the whole idea that Yuga will be the 6th Goha sibling, other than the episode 54 when they mentioned that if Yuga and his team ends up losing this battle, that he would become a Goha employee, and Roman and Gakuto saying yeah, so that we can stop him from becoming a Goha employee. I just really don't see anything else that could really hint towards him being the 6th Goha sibling. I feel like they've really just gone away from that whole concept. And yeah, Yuga also has the benefit that not only does the opening shot of the silhouetted Goha sibling looks very similar in hair design to Yuga, but also we don't really know much about Yuga's backstory other than when he obtained the Seventh Row Magician card. That's just really it. And although I think those are very good points to make, I just feel like since they haven't really put much focus onto Yuga potentially being that 6th Goha sibling, I just honestly, in my opinion, just don't really see it. And as for Rook, I mentioned it in my episode 62 review, but we ended up getting information about the Luke Man and even got a full body design of the Luke Man. And if you look at the other silhouette character in the opening, the silhouette character that we see after the scene of Swirly, in my opinion, I believe that silhouette character is the Luke Man. I mean, it just looks way too similar to not be the Luke Man. I feel like if it was any other character, would just be shocking at this point. It just looks way too similar to Rook. And if that is the case, then that is the Luke Man. Does that mean that both of the silhouette characters are going to be Rook. In my opinion, I just really don't see that being the case. Now, I will say this though, Rook, in my opinion, still has a bigger chance of being the sixth Goha sibling than Yuga, especially with the summary that we got here, as it seems like there's going to be something wrong with Luke, probably because he's freaking out because of the fact that he had fusion in his grasp and he doesn't know what ended up happening to him. So that's probably what that's going to be implying. I don't think that means he's going to be starting to turn evil and that he's going to be the sixth Goha president. So although I think there are some fair arguments for Rook being that sixth Goha sibling, just because of the fact that I feel so confident that that character that we see in the opening is the Luke man, I just don't see it being Rook, and that's where I kind of went towards more of a new character, just because none of the other characters that we've seen in the show I really do believe is going to be one of the Goha siblings. And with that, there's really just no more options that we can really think of other than a brand new character. So that's where I'm going to be going with. However, if something happens during this episode where some other character besides Roa, Mimi, and Swirly, because we know that they're heading to the Goha president's office, if any other character leaves the group for no reason, I'm going to be directing my eyes towards that character, and I'm going to start speculating that that's probably going to be more than likely the sixth Goha sibling, because why would you lead the group? Like, there has to be a reason why you're disbanding from the group and trying to figure out who this sixth Goha sibling is. I don't know, like, if someone just disappears, I'm keeping my eyes on that character. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this summary preview analysis. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what your guys' thoughts were on the summary and the preview for this upcoming episode, and who do you think it's going to be the sixth Goha sibling? Do you think it's going to be an existing character like Yuga, Rook, Gakuto, some other character that we've already seen in the show? Do you think it's going to be someone that we've already seen in the show so far, or do you believe that it's going to be a completely new character? I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this down below, and who do you guys think is going to win in this duel against Luke and Roa? Do you think Roa is going to win, or do you think Luke is going to win? And do you think we're going to be seeing a reappearance of the Luke man, or is he just not going to appear in this episode specifically? Because he's probably going to be a consistent character going forward, especially since we did get a bio on the Luke man, so I do feel like this is going to be a reoccurring case. And with that in mind, will he be using the Luke man phase in this episode as well, or will he not be the Luke man in this episode? Would love to know your guys' thoughts.